Hi everyone, and welcome to my channel. You can call me Kay and allow me to invite you on this journey of self-reflection and curiosity. This is where you'll be free to question established customs and find ideas and thoughts that make the most sense to you. Now, let's get into why I decided to create this channel. Something is usually considered fact when it is essentially measured multiple times by different entities and the same result is reached each time. Therefore, a distinction we can make is the truth is subjective, while fact should remain objective. When something is subjective, our view on it tends to alter based on experience and emotions or feelings, among other things. If something is perceived to be objective, that means that it's experienced without any prejudice and only regarded for what it is. This is why I believe scientific tools are also a necessity in confirming theories to laws. Either through physical or mental means, humans tend to measure phenomena differently amongst themselves. If they tend to their emotions too much, their perception of reality may alter. This usually serves to diminish understanding between different parties, since the supposed same incident is being recollected in various ways. On the other hand, different perspectives might allow for new insights to arise. Thus why I created this channel. I wanted this to essentially be a place where we explore unpopular notions on seemingly popular ideas. There's a common saying that I usually hear from war movies and such. I'm paraphrasing, but essentially the message is, the victor controls the truth. In other words, whoever wins is right. I've had this theory for many years. There are certain customs that we don't usually question based on what part of the world we live in. For example, some customs from North America might seem strange to those living in Asia and vice versa. However, even within countries, customs have changed based on who was ruling or conquered at the time. For example, when the British were occupying India for around 400 years, colonial structures and culture was introduced, along with ideas based on British influence. The same can be said about the first settlers from Europe who came to North America. However, in that case, it was more of a blatant takeover. The point is, those in power tend to have a heavy influence on what is considered popular and unpopular. Another way to look at this is whatever they consider to be the correct or proper way of approaching a situation is the way the society they have control over tends to view it as well. It works the other way as well. The same applies for how unpopular ideas are determined. Hence, a society has a high probability of being narrow-minded if the ones in charge are also narrow-minded. In addition, they may conduct processes based on personal preferences rather than fact or what they know to be more efficient. I'm saying all of this to give a precursor as to what will be the overall vibe of this channel. I believe the outlook I have on most topics to be highly logical, but that may contradict some common practices since most people may make decisions with their emotions as well. Just a side note, I believe there is actually a distinction between logical reasoning and what is considered common sense. But that's a video for another time. Some may say this mindset is robotic, but I don't think it is. Of course, I can't be the one to decide that. You have to be. To get back to what I was saying, since my understanding of certain topics differs from what is considered the normal perception, which within one standard deviation is only rounded up to 70%, I believe my videos may shed some light on the other 30% and allow you to be a little more open-minded. I also want to mention that none of the topics discussed in this channel is intended to cause any malice or negativity. As I said before, I am simply providing an alternative perspective on established notions. I don't want to get into this too much on this introduction video since I might explain it in more detail in a later video. But for now, I want to urge people to strive to be true to themselves. Trying to abide by what you think is expected of you when you don't actually believe in it puts mental and physical strain on you. In my experience, it's okay to listen to advice and learn new perspectives, but decide if you think it's logical and makes sense to you. Don't follow just because someone tells you to. I think that's all I'm going to say concerning this for now. Actually, I think this topic needs a video dedicated to itself in order to fully explain it. But my point for now is to think for yourself. If I had a qualitative goal for this channel, it would be to present different perspectives to people that they might not be used to, and allow them to self-reflect and contemplate about issues to derive ideas they feel comfortable with. It doesn't matter if they're totally different from what I think and present. Just try to formulate your own opinions and thoughts so you don't feel lost or confused in the long run. Also, when I say comfortable, I don't mean ideas that don't require much thought or are easy to understand. I mean, given the evidence, these outcomes make the most sense to you, given your logical deduction and reasoning. Okay, I think that's enough of the background of why I chose to create this channel. Just one last thing I would like to mention before I move on is that I also created this channel since I haven't seen anything related to this concept on YouTube as of yet, but at the same time, I feel that it may be able to help people in being or becoming more accepting and understanding. Thought YouTube may be the best place to host such an environment instead of other social platforms since it allows a convenient way for me to present ideas and interpretations, as well as for the viewers to engage through the likes and comments. Now let's move on to what I like to call semantics, or the administrative aspects of this channel. First off, I'd like to briefly go over how I'm going to attempt to structure the videos. I'll pick a topic that I think might be of interest, or that I believe may provide a different perspective on everyday processes that take place in modern society. I'll state some observations that I've made that backs up the statements that I'll make. Lastly, I'll provide a recap on the important takeaway points. Throughout the video, I encourage you to leave comments stating your thoughts, and even more so encourage you to edit them if they happen to change while watching the video. I'll reiterate, my goal is to try to make this channel a place where thoughts can be shared in an open, respectable environment. Which leads me to one of the most important aspects of this channel, acceptable feedback. I always accept criticism if it comes from a place of logic and pipeline reasoning. Pipeline reasoning meaning from one thought to the next. However, pure hate or random curse words in the comments has no beneficial value to anyone. Although I do believe that curse words are a form of expression that doesn't physically affect anyone, they may have an effect on their mental. This just doesn't pertain to the content of the video itself, it also applies to the comments left by other viewers. No hate towards other people's opinions and thoughts is highly appreciated. I believe I made my point, but if it becomes a bigger issue in the future, I'll address it again. I'd now like to provide some information that may be useful to you. There is little to no data lookups in this video, meaning research. If I happen to do a data lookup, I'll try my best to cite it. Other than that, all statements and observations provided in these videos are my own. Next, I'm not sure if you can tell, but my verbal communication isn't my strong suit. Physics and math are my strengths, but I believe I can at least get my point across, communicate well enough so you can understand me. even though my native language is English. Also, if I happen to use words or lingo that may be unfamiliar to you, it's not because I'm trying to act smart or something. I simply don't know another way to express that particular thought. I also find that my thoughts happen faster than I can say them sometimes, so if there's any confusion in what I'm saying, I'll either go back and try to clarify or reiterate, or if I see a comment asking for clarification, I'll be happy to do so there. I should also mention, because of this, I do prepare a written guide beforehand to at least keep me on track during the video. These videos are, however, one take, so whatever my insights are at the time of recording is what I'll show you. My intention is for this to also be a sort of conversation, so the less editing, more specifically cuts in the audio, the better. Now, for a couple of disclaimers. I realize that I'm not showing my face and just talking to you. For the purposes of these videos, there isn't really a point in showing my face to you, since the focus is on the ideas presented. This may change in the future, but for now, this is how it'll be. So don't worry, you're not listening to an AI or something, or some automated voice recorder. But if you want a brief rundown of who I am, at least on the academic side, I have a bachelor's degree in computer engineering and an online master's in data science and AI engineering. Also, I live in Canada, and at the time of this recording, I'm 25, almost 26 years old. If you want an ethnicity breakdown, which I don't know why it should matter, I can provide you a picture of my current 23andMe ancestry composition. Now that that's out of the way, I'd like to make some comments on how these videos may come across. Although this is not my intention, there may be some who think of these videos as rants. That is definitely not the format I wish for these videos to take on. In my opinion, rants are expressions made in the test for how things are handled which don't provide logical reasoning. My goal with these videos is to provide alternative perspectives with logical reasoning to everyday processes which take place in modern society. I also don't hate the way most things are done, but I also don't feel we should just accept it because we're told that's how it should be. I hope that clears up some misunderstandings some of you may have. If I've forgotten anything, I'll either post it in the community tab or on my Twitter. Now, why am I telling all of this to you now when at the time of this recording I don't even know if any of these videos will be seen? To simply be prepared. I don't like surprises, and in most cases, surprises happen due to either a lack of preparedness or observations. That is why I'm doing this now. So, if these videos ever do pick up traffic and I happen to gain some subscribers, then I'll at least do my part in attempting to give no surprises to them. Or maybe a better word is shock. Actually, in this sense, I think they relate to the same situation. I mentioned my Twitter before. I was thinking about an Instagram or Facebook, but I don't really have any multimedia to post, but I'll think about it. Also, since this format can also be thought of as a podcast, I'm going to think about uploading the audio on Spotify. I don't use Apple Music, but I'll also think about that. Of course, there won't be any visuals with just audio, but at least it'll provide you with another option when on the go. This leads me into one last thing I'd like your input on. How the spoken content is visualized. I thought of two options. Either manually writing down key points on my surface or editing them afterwards with effects and such. I'd like to know which would make you feel more engaged. The manual writing would give the impression of real-time communication. However, edited word effects may better grasp your attention more. Let me know. The first two videos I have up will have the word effects so you can have a feel of how it look. I believe you can imagine how manual writing would look if you've ever taken a university lecture or something. So there's no need to preview that. In terms of upload schedule, I think right now I'll aim for a video around every 2 weeks, but this might change in the future. The best way to keep up to date is by subscribing and having post notifications on. I'll also try to post my Twitter the day before I upload, so be sure to follow me there. I think that's all the info I have to provide you for now. I would say, I hope you subscribe, but I'll caution you to first take a look at my first two official videos, which are Religion as an Anchor and a Logical Interpretation to Creating Legal Laws, so that you may have a better idea if you think these videos may be worth your time. These videos aren't necessarily for entertainment purposes, but I do hope they are interesting and provide you with a little motivation to self-reflect and question what you believe to be reality. Just before I end this video, I'd also like to invite any recommendations on topics that I should talk about. I have a bunch of topics I'd like to talk about, but if there is anything you may be interested in, don't hesitate to leave it in the comments below. That's all for now, and I hope you decide to follow me on this journey of learning. Even if you don't, I hope you will still keep curious and observing. Bye for now.